And welcome to the Formula One Retro League. I'm your host, Thomas Wood, and today we are here for round 11 of the Formula One Retro League. We are here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. We've got 2 rounds to go here in this 2000 season. The championship is going close to the wire here. There's only, I think, 3 points between the top... 7 points between the top drivers. Jacques Villeneuve currently leads the standings for BAR. He sits on 52 points. Michael Schumacher is 7 points behind on 45. Schumacher needs to win this race if he wants a hope at getting this championship in Japan. It's as simple as this. If Jacques Villeneuve wins, then he will be world champion. But if he doesn't, then he needs to score 3 points to be able to win the championship. Let's take you through the circuit stats here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. It's 5.7 kilometers round here. Going to be just over 27 laps. Race distance of over 150 kilometers. I'm not sure exactly what it is because we are running 50% races here. As well, a short qualifying session, one 18-minute session, unlike the Q1, Q2, Q3 format we normally have. But anyway, for those who are unaware, in this F1 Retro League, we have DRS disabled in all sessions. So that means that it'll be harder to overtake round here, but of course there will be still slipstreaming. And there are still spots available for the 2001 season. Of course, only two rounds to go here. It has been confirmed that the 2001 season will be held on F1 22. And then the 2002 season will be on F1 23. But anyway, we're focusing on here and now, which is the Italian Grand Prix of 2000. From what I can see, all the weather is dry. I don't remember seeing anything otherwise. But nevertheless, we are here. Today, the Italian Grand Prix is brought to you by Campari. Not for the faint-hearted, Campari has been supplying the unique spirit of Italian liquor for over 140 years. So the drivers, I'll run you through the drivers we have in attendance. There are currently 9 here at the moment. As we can see, some of them readying up. We have Jacques Villeneuve. Then we have the arrows of Jos Verstappen. The Prost replacement of Kimi Räikkönen, filling in for Jean Alesi once again. Then we have the 2 Jaguars of Eddie Irvine and Johnny Herbert. Then the 2 Ferraris, only 1 Ferrari here. We have a Michael Schumacher. Then, for what seems to be quite a long time, we have 2 McLarens in attendance. Those, of course, being Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard. Then we have the Minardi of Gaston Mazzacane. The Jordans, just one Jordan of Heinz Harald Frentzen. Jonna Trulli not here today. And that completes the grid for now. Whether other people join midway through qualifying, we don't know. But we'll see. As we can see, we are heading into qualifying now for the 2000 Italian Grand Prix. One 18-minute session, as I've mentioned previously, for drivers to set their timed lap. Also important to note that in this F1 Retro League, we have 2 mandatory pit stops to simulate the fuel burning effect that they had at the time. Of course, we are on F1 22, but we can quietly ignore that and pretend it is 2000. As we see, qualifying is underway. Currently, no one is out of the garage. It'll be interesting to see what setups the drivers will be running. Michael Schumacher has confirmed that he will be on the lowest downforce possible to be able to try and get past Jacques Villeneuve, if indeed he does start behind the BAR driver. But if he does start behind, we'll want to see him slipstream past and hold it there to be able to claim that championship. As you see, there is one driver just coming out the pits now. We'll have to see who that is. I think it's Michael Schumacher, as we see. Yes, it is there. Onto the long straight here. Michael Schumacher starting his outlap. Let me take you through some circuit stats here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. There are 11 corners, taking up almost 5.8 kilometers. There will be 27 laps here, a race distance of just over 150 kilometers. Of course, this track has been on the Formula 1 calendar since the very first race 50 years ago in 1950. And has been almost a mainstay since then. I believe it's only missed out 1 or 2 years. As we're on board with Michael Schumacher here, as he goes down the final back straight, of which there are 2, to start his first flying lap. Rounding the Curva di not Parabolica. Yes, it is Parabolica. Excuse me there for the muddle up. But anyway, we see Michael Schumacher coming to start this lap. Ignore that DRS board, will not be needing it. Heading down the main straight into the first chicane. I forget which one this is. I believe it's a Rettifilo, but correct me if I'm wrong. Seems to get a good exit out of there. I didn't see any issues with that. Heading around the Curva Grande now. Obviously want to hug the inside there, like your favourite grandma. Into the Variante della Roggia. Want to cut the chicanes as much as possible without launching your car on those sausage curbs. Into the Lesmo corners now. Want to keep it tight and then wide on the exit to get a good run into this second Lesmo. You can take a lot more speed through there than you think, and Michael Schumacher taking quite a lot of speed there. Heading down the back straight now, one of the 2 back straights that is, into the Ascari chicane. Of course, where Alberto Ascari had his famous career-ending accident. Michael Schumacher, though, gets through there quite well. Heading down into the Curva di Parabolica once again, this time on a timed lap, of course. See, he rounds the final corner. Gets right up to the edge of the track limits. Doesn't cross them, though. And he's going to come across the line and set a 1:20.899. Let's see if any other drivers can beat that time. As we see, that's the 2 McLarens there. I've got to say, that livery looks very nice on the McLarens. As you see, there seems to be some sort of slipstreaming going on between those 2 McLarens. Whether that's organised or simply they're getting in each other's way is unconfirmed. But they are about 4 seconds behind Michael Schumacher. The closest right now to his time being the arrows of Jos Verstappen, about 3/10 behind. There's some sort of happening there. That is Mika Häkkinen. He slowed down to let someone by. As we see, that's someone going off in the background there. I think that was Kimi Räikkönen. It was. Not sure what problems Räikkönen's having. Maybe it's inexperience. Maybe he just had a skill issue. I suppose those 2 facts are related. But maybe we'll speak to him after the race. As he once again cuts the chicane. I'm not sure the FIA will look too happy on that, but we'll move on and follow the Jaguar of Johnny Herbert, who's the only person not to set a timed lap so far. But here he is in that nice green and white and red Jaguar, sponsored by HSBC Bank. Into the Ascari chicane he comes, hits the first 2 apexes nicely, misses the 3rd one slightly and drifts out wide on the exit. Whether he'll have his lap time deleted for that, I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll see as he comes round the final corner and crosses the line, as you can see him doing that now. Michael Schumacher has entered the pit lane as Jacques Villeneuve has taken pole position off of Michael Schumacher. And we're going to follow Johnny Herbert here. He sets the time for 8th place. But anyway, Jacques Villeneuve has taken pole position, and he's done it once again. He's improved his time. He's now just over a tenth ahead of the Ferrari. And we see Gaston Mazzacane in the Minardi goes into third, provisionally. That is a good time from the Minardi driver. Is perhaps a podium on the cars for Minardi, like it was in Hungary. Of course, Gaston Mazzacane that time round getting that podium. But whether he will be able to this time remains to be seen. Anyway, we're looking at the Jaguar of Eddie Irvine now. We're now looking at the Jordan of Heinzauer Frentzen running wide on the exit of Ascari chicane. Round Parabolica he comes now. He has a broken front wing, I've just noticed. There's some damage to that wing on the front of the Jordan. We'll have to box into the pit lane to replace that. As the only other person out on track is Johnny Herbert. He's crawling round into Parabolica. He's going to start his flying lap, I think, now as well. As we see him there, yeah. Currently sitting in 9th out of 10 runners. He'll be looking to improve on that time. Which, if you discount the 10th place of David Coulthard, there is about a 2-second field spread, which is about what we'd expect. Whether Coulthard has set a representative lap yet remains to be seen. But anyway, we're following Johnny Herbert here, rounding the Curva Grande into the Variante della Roggia. Hits the apexes nicely there. I don't see any issue with his laps so far. Into the Lesmos. We're getting right on board with him now. He was a bit weird on the exit coming out of the Lesmos. Once again, not utilising the full track width, but perhaps that'll help him as of course there was a limited amounts of grip on the outside of those curves. Into the Ascari chicane now he comes, cut the apex very nicely. Hits the third apex nicely as well, perhaps misses the second, perhaps that is to help him. But anyway, he comes down the second back straight into Parabolica. Gone a little bit wide, but I don't think that'll be an issue for his lap. See him go across the finish line, or start finish line, and he puts it in 5th place, ahead of his teammate Johnny Herbert. Sorry, ahead of his teammate Eddie Irvine. He is Johnny Herbert, excuse me. We're now going to follow Michael Schumacher on his outlap. As there's about 6 drivers on their outlap and 1 or 2 on a timed lap. And the drivers of Villeneuve, Raikkonen and Hakkinen all in the pit lane. Perhaps they're waiting for later on to go out and set another timed lap. Yellow flag in sector 2. I'd imagine that's just someone going slowly. But anyway, we're going to follow Michael Schumacher here onto his flying lap across the start-finish line. He's got to find about a 10th and 200ths if he wants to get back that pole position from Jacques Villeneuve. Whether he'll be able to find it, we'll have to see. But anyway, go around Curva Grande now. Into Della Roggia. Hits the 2 apexes very nicely there. I see no issues with that. Through the Lesmos. Pulls the apex very nicely. Drifts up perfectly on exit. I see no major flaws with this lap so far. In fact, I don't see any minor flaws either. Which proves Michael Schumacher is a talented driver. Of course, he wouldn't have 2 World Championships otherwise. But he still eluded that World Championship at his dream team, Ferrari. Whether he'll be able to get it this year, or whether he'll be taken by Jacques Villeneuve, Well, we've got 2 races to sort that, and one of those races is here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Michael Schumacher comes around the final corner, sets his timed lap, and he goes on pole position by 0.005 of a second from Jacques Villeneuve. That's very close at the front there. Just about 0.2 back to 3rd place of Gaston Mazzacane there. Then another 0.2 to Jos Verstappen. Another 0.2 to Johnny Herbert. Then about 0.1 back to Kimi Raikkonen. Then in P7, another 0.2 back. That's... Sorry, what? Gaston Mazzacane is on pole position by 0.5 of a second. That is very impressive. Whether he'll be able to keep that pole position, I'm not sure, but wow, I wasn't expecting that time. As we see, that's Jos Verstappen now going into 2nd, beating both Schumacher and Villeneuve. Has the track evolved that much? Or is something weird going on here? I'm not sure, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. If that was legitimate, Gaston Mazzacane put in an absolutely incredible lap here. Excuse my voice crack. But that, I'm just shocked. That's incredible. Anyway, we'll follow another driver. Follow Michael Schumacher. See if he'll be able to beat those times. As he comes into the pit lane. But anyway, it's Mazzacane on provisional pole position from Jos Verstappen in 2nd. I've been told that there may be some audio issues, but I'm not hearing any on my end. I apologise if you can hear those. But anyway, we are here at the Italian Grand Prix. We're seeing Villeneuve on his timed lap now. Can he take back pole position from Gaston Mazzacane as he comes round the final corner onto the straight? Hasn't improved his time yet. So, Villeneuve, once again going for a timed lap. Maybe he's doing 2 runs consecutively to get heat into those soft tyres. Or maybe just getting some more practice in for the race. Of course, we do need to take 2 pit stops here in this F1 Retro League as opposed to the standard 1. Unfortunately, we do still have to have the 2 tyres rule. But that's not an issue, I'm sure. People would use 2 tyres anyway. I've been told that it's either a medium, soft, medium, or a soft, medium, medium strategy, as the hard tyres are almost useless. But we'll have to wait and see what drivers do. As we're following Jacques Villeneuve still, he's on his timed lap. He'll have time for maybe 2 or 3 more. Not entirely sure. But he rounds the Curva Parabolica. The yellow flag in Sector 1, I'm sure that's not a big issue. And Jacques Villeneuve is on pole position once again. That is exactly what the Canadian driver needs if he wants to claim his 2nd World Championship here. Of course, if Villeneuve wins, there is nothing Michael Schumacher can do to claim that title, and Villeneuve will win it here. Of course, he is 7 points ahead, which means he needs to score, I think it's 4th or better, to be able to claim the World Championship here. But we'll have to wait and see whether Villeneuve can claim the title here, or whether it will go down to the final round in Suzuka in a week's time for the Japanese Grand Prix. But I'm just watching here as Eddie Irvine has gone into 3rd place. This is the opposite of what Michael Schumacher is wanting. I'm assuming he's going to wait till the last possible moment to go out on track, and he has. He is here with 2 minutes to go in this session. He will cross the line in time, but not Villeneuve. Michael Schumacher has cut this pretty fine. Obviously, he's looking to get the best of that track evolution. Maybe even a slipstream off of, I think there's Jaguar in front. One and some car up there anyway. But who knows? But anyway, sorry, as I keep getting distracted by my monitors here, looking at all these other drivers. We're now still looking at Michael Schumacher, of course, the most important driver, I would say, on this grid out of everyone here. The one with the most World Championships, of course. Tied with Mika Hakkinen, who also is the reigning World Champion, who hasn't attended some of these races, but he is here for the Italian Grand Prix. But anyway, Michael Schumacher coming around the final corner. He's going to get a slipstream, I think, here, off of one of the Jordans. It's Heinz-Harald Frentzen, excuse me there. But yes, Michael Schumacher getting a toe off of Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Is that some underhand tactics here to get Schumacher onto pole position? I was not expecting inter-team cooperation here. I'm not sure if that's against the rules, but nevertheless, Heinz-Harald Frentzen giving his buddy Michael Schumacher a big help there. I think that was one of the Minardis on the inside of the first chicane. I'm not sure that is the line through there, but we'll confirm that with you later on. But Michael Schumacher into the Variante della Roggia. Absolutely perfect through there. I saw no issues with that. But he's come around the Lesmos. He's absolutely nailing it. As Kimi Räikkönen is out of the session now, I believe he's crashed and is out, as the checkered flag has fallen on qualifying. Villeneuve will not be able to set another lap. Neither will Herbert or Irvine, or the 2 McLarens, who will be on the last row of the grid. But Michael Schumacher going around the Ascari chicane, no faults with that. Heinz-Harald Frentzen is also now getting a slipstream off of Michael Schumacher. These two drivers cooperating very well here. The compatriots, of course, from Germany. Perhaps that's why they helped each other out to beat their Canadian rival in Jacques Villeneuve. As Michael Schumacher comes to the line, he can't improve his time. Michael Schumacher will only start from 6th if the race finishes like that. Villeneuve will be champion. So that is not ideal for the Ferrari protege? That's not the right word. The star. Jos Verstappen will be the final driver to set a time. Comes on the Parabolica now. Where can he improve to? Can he improve up? Improve his position? No, he can't. Jos Verstappen starting 4th. But it's Jacques Villeneuve on pole position for the 2000 Campari Gran Premio d'Italia here at Monza. It's Mazzacane, the Minardi, in 2nd. Then it is the Jaguar of Eddie Irvine. Jos Verstappen for Arrow starting 4th. Kimi Räikkönen an impressive 5th in only his 2nd race in Formula 1. Then Michael Schumacher is in 6th. The other Jaguar of Johnny Herbert is... Heinz-Harald Frentzen is next in 7th for Jordan. Then it is the other Jaguar of Johnny Herbert in 8th position. The 2 McLarens round out the grid. It's Mika Hakkinen ahead of David Coulthard. They were about 1.1 seconds off the pace here. I'm not sure if that's a strategy from McLaren, but if it is, I'm sure it is a good one. But anyway, we're going to move to the race here. at the Monza circuit. In Italian, that would be the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. We're just waiting for the drivers to line up on the grid here. Not sure what's up with those pit crews. I believe we are standing in one another. I'm not sure that's a strategy, but it doesn't matter. We're focusing on the drivers, as it may be about 30 seconds until the race gets underway. But I'm sure this is going to be a very exciting race here in Italy. Slipstreaming battles all around, overtaking everywhere. This is the Italian Grand Prix of the Formula 1 Retro League. As it's Jacques Villeneuve on pole position and Gaston Mazzacane lines up alongside him. We've got 5 red lights. The lights are off and the race is on here at the Italian Grand Prix. It's a good start from Villeneuve as well as from Mazzacane. Michael Schumacher not off to a great start, but he's certainly not terrible. Villeneuve covers the inside into turn 1. There's a Jaguar on the outside. Jaguar's going to go round the outside. The Jaguar of Eddie Irvine's up into the lead here at Monza. Villeneuve down to second, Mazzacane in third. Then the fourth is Michael Schumacher. But Villeneuve's going to try and come back at Eddie Irvine here into the Variante della Roggia. Can he get past? No. Irvine keeps the lead. That was a very impressive move from Irvine down into turn 1. As there's some fighting at the back between the two McLaren teammates there. Then I believe that is Johnny Herbert. He's not had a great start. Neither has Heinz-Harald Frentzen. But moving back to the front, Eddie Irvine. I said it before, but that was a very impressive move. Swooped around the outside of everyone into the first turn. Villeneuve not taking the ideal line through the Ascari chicane there. And now that's going to allow Gaston Mazzacane to get onto the back of him. He's going to try and go around the outside into Parabolica. And he is passed. This is exactly what Michael Schumacher will be wanting. Jacques Villeneuve tumbling down the order. He's down to third after just only 1 lap after starting on pole position. As there's some fighting going on behind. Schumacher, Verstappen and Kimi Raikkonen all involved in this battle. There's a lock-up in front. I'm not sure who that's from. I think it was Villeneuve. But anyway, Schumacher keeps ahead of Raikkonen, who keeps ahead of Verstappen for now. There's some fighting further on back between the Jordan, the Jaguar and the McLaren. They're 3 wide down into Curva Grande. That's very impressive racing. There's a contact between the McLaren and the Jordan. They have to take avoiding action. The Jordan, who's the one who benefits out of that. Whether he'll have to give any places back, I'm not sure. I think he is letting some by there. But there's a McLaren off also in the background. Whether that's been caused by the contact earlier, not sure. But anyway, we're looking forward to Michael Schumacher. He's got about a 1.5 second gap to Jacques Villeneuve. As Kimi Raikkonen, he spun off there. He's done what Sebastian Vettel did in real life in 2019 and spun off the track at the Ascari chicane. That is not ideal for his race here. He's all the way down in 10th place, a place that gives out no points, as the McLarens are still fighting here in 8th and 9th. As I think Gaston Mazzacane set the fastest lap there. But there's also fighting up in front there. That's between Heinz-Harald Frentzen and the Jaguar of Johnny Herbert Frentzen, who gets ahead of Johnny. But I think the focus should be on this battle between Schumacher and Villeneuve. They're quite far apart, about 2 seconds separate them now. But this is the championship battle, of course. Villeneuve, of course, only needs to score 4 points here if he wants to take the title, I think. And currently he is doing so, as I think that's Mazzacane and that's Irvine going side by side into Ascari. That was very dangerous. from them, but good racing nonetheless. As we see Mazzacane now coming back at Irvine, down into Parabolica. Villeneuve is just behind, waiting to capitalise on any mistakes, and Mazzacane is up into the lead. Gaston Mazzacane in a Minardi leads the Italian Grand Prix. This is the dream for Minardi, as of course their base is in Faenza, not far away from here, but Irvine, the British team, is coming back at Mazzacane, trying to go round the outside like he did on lap 1. There's contact between the two. I don't think any harm done to the cars though. And Mazzacane stays ahead. Villeneuve is all over the back of Irvine now though. Can he get ahead? He'll want every position he can get, Villeneuve. He doesn't necessarily need it, but no, that's Irvine. He's coming back at Mazzacane and he's back into the lead. I wasn't expecting that move, as Irvine now covers off the move into the Lesmos. But Villeneuve are going to go around the outside of that is Mazzacane there. He got pushed off the track though, so he wasn't able to get past. But all this is exactly what Michael Schumacher will be wanting. He's being chased by Jos Verstappen, but he is all the while catching up to Jacques Villeneuve, who is in 3rd. So Michael will be saying, yes, please keep fighting. I want to be able to catch up to you guys. But Villeneuve has dropped back a little from this lead battle between the Minardi and the Jaguar of Mazzacane and Irvine respectively. Irvine still leads. The Minardi is in 2nd. Then comes Jacques Villeneuve. Then it's Michael Schumacher in 4th. Jos Verstappen not far behind in 5th for Arrows. Then in 6th, the final points paying position, is the Jordan of Heinz-Harald Frentzen. That was Mazzacane having a little look on Eddie Irvine, nothing but coming of that. But whether his engine is hot or something, whether he needs to pull out to cool down, is a possibility. Well, it's not confirmed though, of course. As we see the Minardi still on the back of the Jaguar. This is very impressive racing here, I must say, at the Italian Grand Prix. Also a great turnout for the books, as of course 10 drivers participating in this. Much better than the 5 we had last race. Let's hope we can keep this upward trajectory of driver participation going. But we're focusing on the race here. Irvine still leads from Mazzacane. Then it's Villeneuve, Schumacher, Verstappen, Frentzen, Herbert, that's Coulthard, Hakkinen, and then Raikkonen in dead last. But yeah, I'm surprised that Mazzacane has been able to keep this close to the Jaguar. Of course, Minardi, perhaps not one of the best cars of this year, as that's Villeneuve and Schumacher. They're both in the pit lane. That was unexpected, to say the least. Whether they're suffering from tyre wear this early, it's going to be a battle in the pit stops between BAR and Ferrari. BAR, of course, gets out ahead, as they had quite a sizable gap going into the pit lane. Another notable pit entrant is Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Jordan. But they'll come out in the last positions. How far back? About 5 seconds. That's a decent amount of gap. They'll have some clean air before the other drivers make their stops. But I saw some battle going on between Mika Hakkinen here and Kimi Raikkonen, the two Finns. I think Kimi Raikkonen was able to get ahead of that, and maybe Hakkinen dropped back. I'm not sure, as Villeneuve is gaining time quickly on that McLaren. But it's still Irvine who leads from Mazzacane. They're still nose to tail here. This is, I can't stress this enough, it's still very impressive racing. I'm enjoying this quite a lot to commentate over, as now they're both diving into the pit lane now. They're both in the pit lane. The top 3 are all in the pit lane, actually. Both Irvine, Mazzacane, and Verstappen. Herbert staying out, of course, because he can't pit on the same lap as his teammate, as that would perhaps be a bit of a block in the pit crews. That is Hakkinen now Coulthard moving into 2nd. As we see, Raikkonen has come out the pit lane now. And the Raikkonen was already out the pit lane, sorry. Anyway, Irvine comes out ahead. There's the Minardi. Is he going to get out ahead of the McLaren? Yes, he is, just about. He's lost a bit of time to Irvine, though. Villeneuve is fighting now with Mika Hakkinen. Nose to tail here. This is very impressive. Villeneuve going to try and go around the outside into the Della Roggia chicane. Is able to do so pretty well. Hakkinen braked early for the corner. Whether he's just letting past or whether he has had a skill issue, I'm not sure. But anyway, the Ferrari has now pushed Hakkinen off the track there. No love lost between the two title rivals of 98 and 99. Of course, Hakkinen coming out on top in both of those championships. You may remember it well, especially the 1999 season where Michael Schumacher, of course, had his crash in qualifying in Britain, missed out on a couple races. But eventually came back after breaking both his legs. But we're not focusing on that, as now Herbert has come into the pit lane for one of his two stops, I should say, coming onto the medium tyres, I noticed there. Whether other drivers are on the mediums, I'm not sure. Mazzacane is on the mediums. But that's Kimi Raikkonen. He's not stopped yet, but he is on the mediums. So Raikkonen almost turns into Mazzacane there. Luckily, the Minardi gets past the Prost pretty easily. Minardi almost having a reverse paint scheme of that Prost. That's quite amusing. Anyway, Villeneuve is on the back of the Prost now. It may all look very confusing, but this is, of course, the first pit stop phase. Oh, and Raikkonen spun there. I'm not sure that was intentional. I don't think it was. It wouldn't help his race if he did that intentionally. So, let's assume it isn't. But anyway, he's down to 9th place now. That will help out all the drivers that had made their stop, as they no longer need to get past him. So, that is ideal for their races, not ideal for Raikkonen's. But it is David Coulthard who leads here, having not made his stop yet. Then it's Irvine in 2nd. Mazzacane in 3rd, still on the podium after making his pit stop. Villeneuve chasing them down in 4th. And you know who's behind him? It's Michael Schumacher, of course, in 5th place. Even as it stands now, Villeneuve will be world champion. Irvine setting the fastest lap there. 1 minute 22.4. About 2 seconds slower than the laps they were doing in qualifying, which is to be expected, of course. They're on race fuel. There's a lock-up there from Villeneuve in front. Don't think that's ideal for his race. But anyway, he's moved on from that. He's continuing on. Excuse me. There's a spinner there. That's Irvine. He spun round. Oh no, that's not ideal for his race. He was leading the race for so long, and then he just spun round. Sorry, is that? Yes, it is Irvine. Sorry, I was getting confused with his teammate there. That was Johnny Herbert getting past him. But yes, Irvine has spun round from the lead of the race. That means that provisionally, of course, Coulthard actually leads, but he hasn't made one of his 2 stops yet. Mazzacane has, so that means that he de facto leads. But he is all over the back. He could actually take the full-on lead of this race if, of course, Coulthard doesn't pit. It looks like he will, though. No, Coulthard doesn't pit yet. But it looks like Mazzacane can take the lead here anyway. Going down the inside into the first chicane. Looks to be an easy breeze past the McLaren. Yep, ahead before the start of the corner. Coulthard's dive-bombed in, though, into the first corner. Mazzacane avoiding action. Coulthard had to go off the track there into the second part, overshooting it massively. Villeneuve's managed to get past him now. That puts another step in between him and Michael Schumacher. This is exactly what Jacques Villeneuve wants. But he'll be wanting more. He wants to win this race. He's a racer. They don't stop racing. Ever. Well, except when they retire. But that hasn't come yet. As that is the McLaren of Mika Hakkinen. He's now got a 3-second time penalty for track limits issues. not ideal for him, but nevertheless, we're not looking at him right now. He's not in any position of importance. But you know who is? Jacques Villeneuve, who we're following right now. So, he's chasing down Mazzacane. Does he risk it? Does he go for a move? Does he need to? Schumacher is catching up to him. There. There's a safety car now, I think. There's a safety car. They're all pitting. The safety car's come out. I think that was for that's for Johnny Herbert, who's crashed out. I'm sorry I missed that. And that's hacking and getting another penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But this is exactly what Gaston Mazzacane needs, as well as David Coulthard. He'll be able to take a pit stop for free. But that does mean that Mazzacane now has taken both of his mandatory pit stops here, and he's free to do whatever he wants. He doesn't need to pit again. Mazzacane leads. I mean, is it on pure pace? I think it is. Mazzacane leads on pure pace. This is... I mean, all credit to him. He's doing an incredible job here in what is arguably not a great car. But Jacques Villeneuve, also in a position to win the championship here. He's also made both of his stops. Coulthard's made one of his stops. But this is exactly also what Michael Schumacher needs, is how he's also made both of his stops on the hard tyre now to go to the end. I'm assuming all the other drivers in front are also on that hardest of compounds. But Michael Schumacher, this is exactly what he will be wanting. He now has a straight shot to the finish on those hard tyres, and he's managed to be able to cut up to Villeneuve now. Of course, there is Coulthard in the way, but he has to make another stop. So that isn't much of an issue. But Villeneuve, he's managed to catch up to him now. This is perfect for Michael Schumacher. Wonder what he's saying on team radio, which we could hear in. This race is, I don't want to say it, but this is an incredible race so far. We've had on-track overtakes, we're having pit stop dramas, we have a shock leader. What more could you want from Formula 1? It's often said that anything can and will happen, and I think what will happen has happened. Yeah. Got Minardi leading. Villeneuve is on for his second title in BAR's second year of competition. Michael Schumacher in 4th place with a straight shot to the finish. I've got all of them have a straight shot to the finish, obviously. The safety car not in just yet. This also helps all the drivers who are behind on time. Ignore the pit window graphic there. I'm not sure what this Amazon Web Services thing is, but it keeps recommending weird pit stop strategies. Anyway, because all the drivers have made... well, not all of the drivers, sorry, most of the drivers have made both of their mandatory pit stops. Coulthard only made one, I believe. But we see all the drivers warming up their tyres, weaving from side to side, looking to get as much load into the tyres without scrubbing them, of course, as that would wear them unnecessarily. You want to put as much lateral load into those tyres just to get some pressure and temperature into them. Keep them warm for that race start. As of course, that is the most important part of a safety car, the start you get off of it. If you can get a good start off of a safety car, you can get maybe 2 positions off of a start. So absolutely crucial to get that restart phase right. The Italian Grand Prix, brought to you by Campari. Not for the faint-hearted, Campari has been supplying the unique spirit of Italian liquor for over 140 years. And the safety car is in this lap now. This means that effectively, that Gaston Mazzacane becomes that safety car. He can choose when the field can go. Of course, he can't make erratic start-stop manoeuvres, but he can decide and dictate when the field goes. I'm assuming both Villeneuve and Schumacher will be looking to anticipate when the Argentine driver makes his dash. He'll want to do it as late as possible, of course, as he doesn't want to get slipstream down into turn 1. Michael Schumacher, the crucial thing right now is to clear David Coulthard as quickly as possible. As we see, Mazzacane has gone out of the exit of the Parabolica. We are back racing here at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Mazzacane made a good start, as did Villeneuve, but not a perfect one. Michael Schumacher, there's a lock-up from Coulthard, and Schumacher's been hit by Verstappen. Luckily, nothing bad happening. I think there was a Jordan off in the back there as well or something. But Schumacher, almost exactly what he wanted. Oh, there's a contact there. There's contact at the back. There's a McLaren out. Another McLaren and a Jordan with damage. Absolute chaos at the back here. What's gone on? I think the two McLarens have had a tussle with Heinz-Harald Frentzen here. What? This race is absolutely crazy, honestly. I can't stress this enough. Hungary was entertaining 2 rounds ago. Spa was Spa. We'll not talk about that too much, but this Italian Grand Prix, absolutely insane. Excuse my voice crack. But that was absolutely crazy. Villeneuve's still in second. Mazzacane still leads. Schumacher chasing them down. But of course, Schumacher doesn't just need to get past Villeneuve. He needs to drop. He needs Villeneuve to either crash out of this race, not scoring points, or finish lower than 4th. I believe those are the conditions for winning. You see, that is of course. You see, that David Coulthard getting another penalty. Oh dear. But they are in the pit lane to replace that damage, of course, that they got with that tussle they had with the other McLaren. Luckily, those two running were avoided terminal damage. Excuse me. But they are still running. Villeneuve is on the back here. Still. Of the Argentine driver. He's dropped back a little bit. But of course he doesn't need to win here. He needs to finish 4th to be able to clinch that title. While a win would be nice, the championship of course is more important. It's what all the drivers strive to win. As we are about halfway through this race now. Mazzacane leads from Villeneuve, Schumacher, Verstappen, Irvine, Raikkonen, Frentzen, and Mika Häkkinen. Sorry, David Coulthard. Mika Häkkinen out of this race, along with Johnny Herbert. Herbert's accident, what caused the safety car. And then, on the safety car restart, it's where the tangle between Frentzen and the two McLarens happened. As at the back, in the back of that the back shot there, we see Verstappen pulled out of the back of Michael Schumacher. Luckily, Schumacher was able to defend that position relatively easily. I keep seeing lockups from Villeneuve into turn 1. I'm not sure if that's a graphical error, or whether Villeneuve does lock up into turn 1. But either way, he didn't lose that much time from it, so I'm going to assume it's a graphical glitch on that VAR. Sorry, did I say VAR? I meant BAR. Not Van Amersfoort Racing, British American Racing. Two very different things. Do you know what isn't very different? Scuderia Ferrari, whom we're following here, with their star driver Michael Schumacher. He's managed to pull a bit of a gap to Jacques Verstappen. This is what he needs. Not ideal for Verstappen's race, of course. As I think it was Verstappen who missed out on a victory in Spa-Francorchamps last time out. If my memory deceives me, I apologise. But anyway, it just, to me, it looks like Michael Schumacher doesn't have the pace here to catch up to Villeneuve. They've been about matched on pace the entire way through qualifying and the race. So what Michael Schumacher will be needing is a mistake from Villeneuve. That seems to be the only way that he can take this title down to the wire in Suzuka. As we see, that is Kimi Raikkonen. He has ghosted out the session. That is not ideal for his race. This is also what happened in Hungary, if you remember back 2 races. Kimi Raikkonen, along with his teammate Nick Heidfeld, who, to be fair, was having multiple skill issues, both left the session and had their races ruined. Kimi Raikkonen was on for a potential points finish on his Formula 1 debut. But anyway, we're looking back to that lead battle between Mazzacane and Villeneuve. Today, the Italian Grand Prix, brought to you by Campari. Campari, not for the faint-hearted, Campari has been supplying the unique spirit of Italian liquor for over 140 years. I'm sure you can find it in any local liquor store near you. As we're now following this battle, a very intense battle for third place here, the final podium spot, between Michael Schumacher, Jos Verstappen and Eddie Irvine. Eddie Irvine recovering well after his spin from the lead of this Grand Prix. But it is a very spicy battle here for the final podium place. They're all going through the Scarlet chicane. Irvine is gaining on Verstappen there. I think he's got a good run into the final corner, but maybe he'll want to save that as we see Verstappen defending. Irvine goes round the outside of the final corner. Can he make that move stick? Drifts out wide on exit. Verstappen keeps the place, but he will have a good run now onto the front straight. Irvine is ahead of Verstappen. Can he get ahead of Michael Schumacher now? Schumacher will desperately be defending for any hope of clinching a world championship here. Villeneuve a little bit wayward on exit, but luckily he stays ahead. Irvine going to go round the outside of Curva Grande. Is it a grande move for Eddie Irvine? He's ahead of Michael Schumacher. Schumacher, the championship is slipping away from his hands here. This is really not ideal for the Michael. It just doesn't seem like there's anything he can do. He just doesn't seem to have the pace here round this Monza circuit. Of course, Ferrari's home race here. One of two, the other being the San Marino Grand Prix in Imola. But you can't help but feel for Michael Schumacher, who's just unable to catch up and pass Villeneuve for the title. It wouldn't even be the title here. Schumacher cannot claim the title here. But he could take it down to the wire. But that needs Villeneuve to make a almost race-ending mistake, which he doesn't seem to be doing. He's managing to keep in contact with Gaston Mazzacane up in front as well. This is an incredible race. I'm enjoying this so much. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3 now, as that is a McLaren without a front wing. Not ideal for him. I'm gonna say that's a skill issue there. I apologise to him if it isn't, but just, I don't know. Anyway, it's Irvine spun again now. Irvine with the second spin of the day, this time taking out his front wing. We move from one spin to another. This time Irvine has gone round again. He'll have to trundle back to the pits with that broken front wing. This is not ideal for Irvine's race, but it does help Michael Schumacher, who has now one less protagonist in this fight for third place. Just has to deal with Jos Verstappen now. As we have 7 laps to go in the Italian Grand Prix. Gaston Mazzacane leads for Minardi at their home race. Villeneuve is in second. Sorry for my pauses. Villeneuve is in second. Michael Schumacher is in third. Then it's Jos Verstappen in fourth. Kimi Räikkönen just moved up into fifth. While not in the lobby, Eddie Irvine serving his stop here to change his front wing. Then behind them all is David Coulthard, not having the best of days here. Not sure what's going on with his race, but anyway, moving over to the closest battle on track for that third position between Michael Schumacher and Jos Verstappen. Can Michael Schumacher claim the title? Oh, sorry, Schumacher cannot claim the title here. That answers my question. Can Villeneuve claim the title here, though, is the question. With 6 laps to go, it looks like he will be able to, not to commentators curse it, but Villeneuve is in the prime position to take his second World Championship here. This momentous moment? I mean, sorry, voice crack. I mean, you could say so. Villeneuve is doing exactly what his father could not, and that is win a World Championship. The father, of course, being the legendary Gilles Villeneuve, whom we all remember very dearly. Of course, Villeneuve sadly passed away at the 1982 Belgian Grand Prix, as Kimi Räikkönen has now been passed by Hans-Harald Frentzen. Kimi Räikkönen, though, still in that 6th place, still getting points. But that is not the closest battle on track. That is, of course, as I've mentioned many times, between the Ferrari and the Arrows of Michael Schumacher and the Dutchman of Jos Verstappen. As we see this very lovely helicopter shot here. I quite like this one. But let's just take a second to enjoy this. Yes, that was a very nice helicopter shot. Anyway, Jos Verstappen caught up massively on that straight there to Michael Schumacher. Caught about maybe 0.4 of a second. Perhaps deploying some of that extra power that Arrows don't have. I'm not sure why I said that. But anyway, Arrows will still be enjoying this day. Still getting good points with Jos Verstappen. Of course, his teammate, not Jarno Trulli, that's Jordan's teammate. Pedro de la Rosa is Jos Verstappen's teammate. He is not in attendance today. Unfortunate. But it's nice to see good attendance still. As we see, that's Hans-Harald Frentzen again getting past Kimi Räikkönen. When Räikkönen got back past Frentzen, I'm not sure. But he is. Kimi Räikkönen does seem to be back in the lobby though, so that's good. Good to see he's rejoined the lobby, unlike he did in Hungary. Of course, the last time Räikkönen participated. But we'll move back to the leader of this race. Got 4 laps to go. It is Gaston Mazzacane. Could this be the first win for an Argentine driver since, I think, Juan Manuel Fangio? I don't know if that is the last Argentine race winner. I'll quickly confirm that for you. Sorry, no. The last race winner in Formula 1 to be from the Argentine country is Carlos Reutemann, who stood on top of the podium at the 1981 Belgian Grand Prix. Little fun fact for you there. But can this other Argentine driver of Gaston Mazzacane, can he take the first win for an Argentine driver in 19 years here in Monza? I'm sure Minardi and the country of Argentina would be very happy. Perhaps it would incite Argentina to come back on the calendar. I'm not sure whether that would be possible, but I'd certainly love to see it happen. But there are 3 laps to go now as we cross the line. With 3 laps to go in the Italian Grand Prix. The championship just clipping slowly away from Michael Schumacher. You got to feel for him. He's had such a great season. I believe he's taken 3 to 4 race wins. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, he's led the championship up until he was unwell for the last couple races. Could this be his downfall? As Villeneuve, of course, was there for those races. As we're watching him now, Villeneuve is got one hand on that Formula 1 Drivers' Championship trophy. Can Villeneuve win his 2nd Drivers' Championship here? May not be the most intense battle for it, but it's still exciting nonetheless. Formula 1 is also brought to you by Foster's Beer. Available in any decent store near you. We're approaching the final stages of this Italian Grand Prix. Gaston Mazzacane looking to be leading for Minardi. As we see, Eddie Irvine is now out of this race. Both Jaguars retiring here. That is unfortunate, to say the least. Such a shame. Whether David Coulthard will be able to pass him, though, before the end of the race, we'll have to see. About a minute behind with 2 laps to go. I think he should be able to do it. Hello, welcome back to the Italian Grand Prix here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, here in Monza, Italy. We've got 2 laps left of this Italian Grand Prix to go. Can Gaston Mazzacane win here at Minardi's home race? Can Jacques Villeneuve win his 2nd Formula 1 driver's title? Just under 12 kilometers of this circuit will decide that. Villeneuve can practically cruise now. He doesn't need to do anything fancy. He doesn't need to win the race. He got an 8.5 second gap to Michael Schumacher. He can practically cruise round here and still take the title. This has been, I wouldn't say a perfect day, but certainly a very good day for Jacques Villeneuve, the Canadian driver. Is performing very well here in these races. As we see Michael Schumacher there now. Kimi Räikkönen is in the pit lane. I'm not sure what that's for, but he is there. That's interesting, to say the least. He has got over a minute gap to David Coulthard, but that's not particularly important. As we see, Gaston Mazzacane has started the final lap of the Italian Grand Prix. This is what the championship will come down to now. Jacques Villeneuve just needs to stay ahead of Michael Schumacher. In fact, he needs to stay ahead of both Michael Schumacher, Jos Verstappen, and Hans-Harald Frentzen to take this title. Can he do it? 5.8 kilometers will decide that. Michael Schumacher The title is slipping and slipping away from him. He's so close yet so far from the title. Jos Verstappen so close yet so far from a race win. Sorry, a podium position also. But I'm not sure which part of the race to commentate on. The race winner or the championship battle. I'm not sure which is more important, which is more impressive. As we've got a Minardi leading a race. We've got a Minardi looking to take his first race victory here. We also got a Canadian about to win their second world title. They're coming down the final straight for the final time into Parabolica for the final time. This is what the championship comes down to. Gaston Mazzacane rounds the final corner. And Minardi are a winner at their home race here at Monza circuit. Gaston Mazzacane wins the Italian Grand Prix, but it's Jacques Villeneuve who wins the 2000 Formula 1 Drivers' Championship here at Monza circuit. Michael Schumacher pushed hard all the way to the end here, but not able to clinch the Drivers' Championship. He's now mathematically unable to. Still a podium for the Ferrari driver, but let's just look at Jacques Villeneuve here. He's done what people thought would not be possible. Win a championship in a VAR. It's the second year of competition here in this racing. And isn't it just wonderful? Villeneuve claims his second title. Michael Schumacher taking the driver of the day there. A little consolidation. Sorry, can I just correct myself here? Villeneuve has a 9-point lead over Michael Schumacher. So Villeneuve will not take the title here. I'm incredibly sorry for that. But the title will go down to the wire at the Japanese Grand Prix. So I suppose we'll see you then for the Japanese Grand Prix. It's in a week's time at the Suzuka circuit. We'll see you then. I've been Thomas Wood, your host. Apologies for the miscommunication with the title decider, but we'll see you next time.